Hello, and welcome to a long overdue episode of the Mighty Electronic Box for the week of the 2nd of September, 2013. I am here with John. Say hello, John.
Yo.
And Brad.
Sup?
Hello. So let's just get right into it. What have you guys been playing? It's been ages since we've done a show. It feels like ages. It feels like I haven't seen you guys in I have never seen you guys, but I haven't...
That's a good point.
I have seen Brad, because I watched a bit of Brad's live stream once, so I actually have...
So have I.
I haven't seen you,
shit.
John.
We've got Brad at a disadvantage.
For all I know, you're a robot. Don't I have a picture of me as my Skype picture, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, that could just be anybody. I could have just
you found that on Google.
I could have just stolen some guy's
it.
picture, yeah.
That's not you, sure. Stop lying.
It's definitely not me.
It's the first time all three of us have actually been here for a podcast in over a month.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
write that
I think the
down.
last time was after those two esports things.
Yes, it was actually
Yeah.
yes. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
the last time.
Wow, shit. Was that long ago? That was a long time.
It was. It's quite a while.
Yeah, so you must have played a shitload of games, Brad, in between then and now.
No.
You suck.
No, I'm talking. You already knew the answer to that
Yes, I
question.
know.
That was a loaded question. I will not just because you asked me like 5 seconds before the
intentionally
podcast
set you up.
started, and I said no, and then you asked again 5 seconds later. It's not like I'm actually going to have played games between now and
Well, that
then
just
to make
Well,
up
then
for it.
you're not working hard enough, Brad.
I'm not getting paid anything to do this.
What?
I'm going to work at all if I don't have to.
Well, Brad,
Also, you're fired.
you must have played something.
Okay, I played some stuff.
What did you...
Not going to lie. I played a bit more Dive Kick.
Oh, yeah? And what do you think of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I played my other games in the Steam tournament thingamajiggy that was going on. I think I mentioned.
One.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah,
How
and I
did that
played
go?
against. Not so great. So I got buyed through 3 games in the losers bracket or something stupid because there's loads of dropouts. And then I came up against Glenn Tennis from the site. You might have heard of him.
Yeah.
Ex-intern at Whiskey Media. And he, I presume, must be West Coast to have done internships there, although I believe someone said he lives in Florida, but I can't remember. Anyway, point is, yeah, that game, don't play it across the Atlantic. It
I
doesn't
think that
work.
goes for any game, especially a fighting game. I think that could...
You can play a shooter competently across the Atlantic, but yeah, it wasn't even oh no, there's a bit of input lag. If it was half a second of input lag, I might not have been that sad. It was, you just randomly mash the buttons and hope you win. There was no, you were dead before you'd even seen anything happen.
Yeah.
There was no ability to react to anything or plan anything out.
Yeah. John, have you
And
played Dive Kick?
See,
Yeah, I played
Right.
quite a bit of it.
you have it on PlayStation, right?
Oh, I've got it on PS3, yeah.
Yeah. PS4.
How is it on
Yeah,
PS?
it's,
How's the
it's
online?
cool.
Me and Brad both got it on PC.
The online is, other than finding people to play, which it doesn't seem like there's that many people online, the actual game it's pretty smooth.
That's good.
Have you
Very rare. It's not, it's not like a Mortal Kombat situation where you press a button and 2 seconds later the character does it. It's
I think MK's online has to be one of the worst.
Yeah. I think Dive Kick uses that GGPO thing,
Yeah, it does.
which is revered as being one of the best netcodes for fighting games. So
It's my first real experience with it, and I had maybe 1 or 2 bad games online playing it on PC. But for the most part, it was pretty smooth.
yeah. It's a really cool game. I certainly I think I had doubts. I think we all sort of had doubts about them not sticking rigidly to the just dive and kick formula thing.
I want to.
Yeah.
But,
That's my biggest problem with that game.
Oh, okay. That stuff, I think that takes it from being a funny gimmick into, a game that you can actually sort of, I don't know, enjoy on sort of a strategic level.
I guess.
I don't.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't played enough of it to really comment. I was really set on going into and looking at every character, but I mentioned this to Brad when me and Brad played. I think me and Brad played 4 games or so, and I was just bored stiff by the end of the 4th game. I cannot play that game for longer than 5 or 6
Yeah,
minutes.
I played with a friend and we ended up playing like about 20 games in a row, just like changing characters and stuff. And like I'd be pretty much sticking to Kick for the majority of the games I played, and then like playing with him, I was like, oh well, it's not ranked, so I'm not really bothered about wins and stuff. So I was just trying out all the characters, and there are some like Stream, for example, is a really weird character.
Stream is crap, but
yeah,
also ridiculous.
It's funny because like a lot of the characters that people were initially saying were crap, then sort of became like awesome, and then like the characters that everyone was saying were awesome, like turned to crap sort of like once you learn them. Like there's characters who initially are crazy, so it's sort of hard to keep track of them, but once you've got what they do down, like they become really easy. And then it's like the other way to the other characters, like they seem crap, but they can sort of like F up other dudes. Like I think Jafali is like, he's sort of the Dan of that game, but it turns out he's quite useful against characters that sort of have quite a long dive, if you know what I mean, like a quite horizontal dive.
Yeah, Kung Pao. That's why I like Kung Pao, because her dive, her actual, dive kick is.
Yeah, I hate Kung Pao. I really can't use Kung Pao, but that might just.
It feels so weird to say she's my main in a game where you have one move essentially, but yeah, she's the character that I've been using.
Yeah, I mean, Kick's my main, but Dr. Scholes I think is a good character. Easy if the person using them only just does the normal dive and kick routine, because you can just get under her and then kick her in the back. But like,
I find it is a pretty reactionary based game. It's hard.
Yeah, someone who knows how to use Dr. Scholes and like can do her air special and stuff and use that well can wreck you.
How do you use the air special well? I've always wondered that.
It's like faking the opponent into like diving and then going in. I guess.
I've always got, whenever I've used the air special, you get stuck in it for ages, so there's no way to punish anyone with it. I don't understand the point of it.
Yeah,
I don't know how to
exit. Used Dr. Scholes.
I'm not great at it, but I've seen people use it quite effectively. I think Baz is not Baz. Baz is a dick. I can't fight Baz, even though people say he's like a terrible character. I just can't fight him.
Baz? Just jump into him whilst he's going across, because the lightning trap's behind him. You just fuck him up whilst he's.
I know. I kick guy.
Could never. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The first I played through story mode, and when I'd never seen that character before, and I was getting hit. I was like, what the fuck is this character doing? Like, I got completely blown up when I first played him, and I was like, oh okay, this is how this guy works. But I think it's an interesting it's an interesting idea. I am a bit disappointed that they didn't stick to just dive and kick. It's the when you quote headshot, when you kick a dude in the head, the next round is almost free for the
I'm not sure about headshots. I think it's almost a good idea. They just didn't. I feel like there's something there, but they sort of messed it up. I don't know.
I think it does kind of depend on the character. Like, I mean, for my character example, like Kung Pao, if my opponent can't really move, it's very hard.
Yeah, Kung Pao.
It's very hard for me not to just jump straight forward and dive kick them, because the arc of her kick is so good that they can almost do nothing about it.
You can do the same thing with Scholes. Right. If they've been headshotted, you just jump and kick straight away, and they can barely ever get out of the way of it.
Dr. Scholes, I found I could counter when I was dizzy. But yeah, someone who can jump across the screen in one jump is ridiculous when you're dizzy. God, who else? Mr. N's a pretty good character, I find. Just because I don't know, he's very reactionary. You can just as soon as someone gets anywhere near you, just jump up and kick, and they're sort of screwed. Yeah, I don't know. Redacted is a bit of a dick. Seems to have a massive hitbox on his kicks.
His kick has zero distance. They might as well just be straight down.
Yeah.
And it's a she.
Oh yeah, she. Yeah, that was mess up. I also can't fight dive for some reason. As kick. They're very similar characters. Dive's slightly slower in terms of his kickback stuff, but I don't know, for some reason I find fighting him quite hard.
I think it is really cool that they managed to get a they still have kind of the fighting game like matchup and metagame in a game that on the surface sounds extremely straightforward and simple. You wouldn't think like Kung Pao versus X character. You wouldn't think, oh well, that's just that's just the same. It's like it's really not, like, because it is so simple. It's a pretty interesting strategy to it, but it's just I just find it impossible to play it for anything longer than 5 minutes. It's that I think that's the downside of it being so straightforward. Like I could play, like, when I can't believe I actually haven't been down to the arcade this week, but like when I go there, I can like sit and play like Tekken or Mortal Kombat or Injustice for like 8-9 hours straight. Just there's no way in hell I could do that with this game.
I'm almost the opposite. Like I couldn't put it down. It was like just like one more game sort of thing.
Yeah. I guess that's just pick your poison, but for me it's like I don't know, like I need more. I want more from that kind of game, I guess.
Yeah.
But that being said, like, it is kind of, that's the whole point of that game, really. Like, they've been pretty upfront about that. So
yeah, and I thought it's cool. You get a Vita version of the game as well for essentially free.
Cool.
I noticed that because I went to click on it and it was like, oh, please connect to PS Vita, and I was like, oh, have I bought the wrong version of the game or something? But
that would have sucked.
That would really suck. No, you get a free version of it. So now I own a Vita game. It's almost making me want to buy Vita.
I think that could be a pretty hilarious game to play, like, on a Vita while surrounded by people.
Yeah.
Because that game can get you pretty angry. Like,
oh man, I played with my.
It sounds silly to get angry over that game. That game got me pretty pissed.
Yeah, my brother was freaking out when I was playing him. Like when I first I didn't really tell him anything about it. I was just like, oh, let's play this fighting game. He doesn't really like fighting games,
that's really not very nice.
Yeah, I know, but it was funny. Then once he got into it and understood it, he was just going crazy. So
I'm really looking forward to. I really, really hope that gets like tournament support, because I think that could be extremely fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
That's one thing actually that I'm really. It's just something that I wish a lot of fighting games would do, but I think it's more the case in Dive Kick, like when you play it online. I really wish you could play sets instead of just one game. Like one game in that. I mean, have you guys frauded anybody yet online?
No.
I think one or two. Yeah. I've been frauded myself as well.
I haven't been frauded yet. I'm quite happy about. But I think, I mean, like, fraud. If you do that, your game lasts like maybe sometimes less than a minute. I mean, like the round time is 20 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
It's 20 seconds, and like if you fraud someone, like chances are they're not very good, so you're gonna beat them quite quickly. And I just feel like it's on the surface, it's a perfect game where you could actually set it up to play like 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5, because the sets don't take that long. Whereas if you do something like that in Tekken, like one match in Tekken can take 2 or 3 minutes. So I just wish that's something that would be in all fighting games. But I think in Dive Kick it would make sense for it to be in it, because it's such a your games go by so quickly.
Yeah, and the lobby system is pretty crap. Because you can't spectate, and it's 1v1 lobbies. Like,
what lobbies aren't great.
Have you guys had any like hate mail from playing that game?
No, it's been pretty. I think the people who are playing that game are generally not. I don't know.
I had one. It wasn't strictly hate mail, but I was playing on PC, and I could hear the guy in the background, and he was displeased.
Yeah. Oh my god, I hate
I've
people with fucking
GVs,
open mics.
Oh, I know, and you can hear them. It sounds like they're fucking give their mic a
when I miss the mute button before I click into a game, I just take my headset off. Like I can't actually. I just prefer having no games
have it on. I just have the speakers, and it comes through there. Like, so when I forget the mute, I hate that.
Yeah.
But
I usually have my headphones on when I'm playing games. So
it is cool though. I just I just thought I would enjoy it more, I guess. I'm surprised at myself. I thought I would, get more enjoyment out of it. But...
Fair enough. So yeah, that's Dive Kick, I guess. Did you guys do the story mode with the YOLO gem?
No, because that sounds crazy.
It's okay, you can use continues, it's piss.
Oh, alright, okay.
It's not that hard.
I've had a couple of guys try and fight me online with YOLO gems. which went badly for them.
I did it once when I joined into a game and I didn't want to play the game, and the guy had an open mic and I forgot to mute him. So I just picked the YOLO gem because I knew it would be over quickly. I literally just threw the game. I don't even want to play with you.
Yeah.
Please go away. So that was fun.
Cool.
Right then, what else did I play? Project Cars is now on Steam. Not like Steam. It's just like only there's no store page for it, so it's only if you already have a key that you can actually redeem it and see anything about it on Steam. But they've basically moved away from their old installer and are forcing people to use Steam now, which prompted me to go and play it a bunch more. That combined with the fact my friend has a shiny new PC, which is better than mine, and I wanted to see what it looks like if you crank all the toggles completely all the way up. And it runs super smooth on his 770. So if you want to play Project Cars, that's a good graphics card to do it on. And yeah, we played a really fun like 20 lap race in the Audi. I think they're A4s. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember what they are. Although they're not actually called Audis. They're like the name's made up. But you can clearly tell it's an Audi. They just, obviously don't have the license to call it an Audi at the moment. We did a 20 lap race, but the cool thing about it, we did it entirely in a thunderstorm. And pitch black at night. And the first time we did it, there was one corner, my friend, we were taking it in turns, like, I don't know, we did like 10 laps each or something. My friend rear-ended so many cars that the headlights got smashed in. And then when we finally got into the lead, there were parts of the track with no streetlights. And with no headlights, I literally couldn't see the road except when the lightning flashed. And there was a period of time when there was like no lightning flash for about 10 seconds, and I'm trying to go around a corner that's like a hairpin. And I was like, is this the corner? And then I just started driving across the grass, and I was like, oh shit, this isn't the corner. I just had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But goddamn, that game is still outrageously pretty. Like the reflections on the road of like, and then when the asphalt lights up when the lightning flashes, and then all the puddles and the reflections of all the street lights and the brake lights of the cars and stuff. Good God. I don't think there are many games prettier than Project Cars right now. Still. So I can't wait for that to become a real thing. Because I want to play damn multiplayer on it, and you can't throw money at it anymore because of the court stuff that I talked about before. So yeah, when that comes out, apparently next year, I will be all over it like a bad rash because I've got my wheel and I want to use it. Damn it!
Oh yeah, you got a racing wheel, didn't you?
I did. I
Sweet.
I did that thing. I did the deed. Bought a racing wheel. Oh my God. What else did I play? Yesterday, there was another PC gaming hub. The Giant Bomb PC gaming hub had another Arma event, which I joined in on. That was good fun. It seems like in the Arma 3 beta is coming along quite a lot now, and they actually are doing 2 islands in Arma 3. So the first one I think is called Stratis or Stratos, I can't remember. And that was the one that was in the alpha and the early beta, and it was reasonably small. They've added in the new island. I have no idea what the name is. I think it's the one that's based on, if you remember that news story where those Arma developers got arrested.
No, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No.
They were on location on this island that they're basing the game on.
Yeah.
And apparently they were scouting a military camp, and they got arrested for like spying.
Oh.
And detained for like 3 weeks in the middle of fucking nowhere.
That was Greece, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's
Greece are really, like, I've been to holiday to Greece a lot, and they are really weird about
Yeah, you look the
military
wrong
stuff.
way at the wrong military thing in Greece, you're gonna get fucked.
They've got like military bases like all over the place, and if you take pictures of planes, like you can get arrested. Even like commercial planes, not even like military stuff. So yeah, they're a bit crazy about that stuff. I think it's because they're like super paranoid about Turkey, like invading them, which is like really weird because that hasn't, they haven't actually had any sort of military clash for forever, really.
Yeah.
But they're still really paranoid about each other. Really weird. Anyway.
It's a bit. Yeah, Arma 3, I wish I had a better PC for that game. Not only for Project Cars, but that game. Another game that's really pretty, just like mainly on the sheer scale of it, but also it looks like the models and stuff of the new vehicles that they've added. We were rolling around in some new tank that they added, pretty crisp and sharp, and the lighting and stuff and everything in that game looks fantastic. and all the foliage, like the depth that they have in like their ground foliage and forest and stuff. Really pretty. But yeah, my PC chugs on that game. Like, I had to crank stuff down, and that felt bad because I'm not used to
That just
having to
always
crank
makes you
stuff
feel
down.
bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, I cranked stuff down, and like I still was getting 45 FPS max, and an average of just under 30, like dropping to 20s at times. Makes me all the way sad.
You know what to do, Brad. You know what to do.
It's gonna happen. That's why I'm working at the moment. That's what I'm saying in my head. Is the rest of this money is my PC upgrade money. Because yeah, that's got to happen at some point, hasn't it? I don't know when to wait till though, because I'm an Nvidia guy, so 700 series just came out. When do you have any idea when the next?
I have no
cards?
idea. I was in this situation like almost a year ago, and it just there's I don't think unless this is like the only time you're ever going to get a PC, I don't think there is like a quote perfect time to get
No.
one, because sooner or later new stuff is going to come out. It's just you can try and build one so that you don't have to upgrade so often. Like that's why it took me so long, was because I wanted to make sure that A, I didn't have to upgrade for a while, and B, when I did, I could upgrade on the same base build. I don't have to get like a new motherboard or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I fuck it, man. Just go for it. Just.
I want to wait though until new consoles are out. That's my only, and I kind of want to wait until the next hardware release after the new consoles come out. If you know what I mean. I want the newest cards after the console release, which I think has to be the 800 series. So I'll probably save up and get an 880. It'll probably be like 500 quid by next summer. And then I need to do CPU, because I think my CPU is actually the biggest bottleneck in my system at the moment.
No, just get a new console. You'll be fine.
I'm worried about my hard drives actually, because my PC's performing slow and I have absolutely no idea.
Are you on an SSD or regular?
So I have an SSD, but it's an old SSD. It's only on SATA 2, which is up to 3 gigabytes a second. It's not on the 6 gigabytes a second SATA ports.
Yeah.
So it's not as fast. Gigabits, I think it's in bits, isn't it, that they measure that? Anyway,
yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, it's not on the newest, fastest ones, but it's not fast enough to achieve those speeds anyway. It's like 250 read-write, I think, and the newer ones are like 550 read-write speeds in megabits or whatever. So I kind of want to get a new SSD as well, because Tested just did that article. I don't know if you read it. Did you see it?
I didn't really go on Tested that much.
Okay. They did a new SSD.
I can't remember the last time I've been on Tested, actually.
They do some decent PC hardware articles from time to time. You just have to turn up there at the right moment.
Yeah,
they
kind
have
of
a really
lost
good
their focus, ever so slightly.
Yeah, just a tad.
Yeah.
But the SSD article was talking about the Samsung, 840, which is the one that I was thinking of getting anyway, but they've released a new like Evo version that has even faster read and write speeds, and they do like a 250 gig one that's like 100 and something quid, which sounds pretty reasonable to me. And I kind of like to replace my boot drive with that. But yeah, like starting again with an OS is scary, don't you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, like, would you have to go that route, or?
Yeah, there's not really. I don't know if you can clone it, but I don't know if I'd want to. I'd kind of just want to have a fresh install at that point if I'm replacing now and everything else. Is actually the thing that's worrying me more is my terabyte drive, because my terabyte drive is now sitting at about, I don't know, under 300 gigs remaining.
Yeah.
And since I've started filling that up a bit more, I feel like everything's just gotten a bit slower. And I'm not sure if that's what's causing it, or it's just... Because I remember when I had Ubuntu installed on that thing, I had it installed on like the final 100 gigs. I made a partition at the end of the drive. And Ubuntu was like, yo, this drive is failing. And I was like, no, it's not. Windows would have told me if it's failing. It's completely fine. And then Ubuntu like basically uninstalled itself. It was just like, fuck you, this drive's dead. Stop using it. And so I stopped using Ubuntu. That was a long and short story there. But yeah, I'm kind of worried about that drive, and I don't know whether there's actually
How
anything
old
wrong
is
with
the
it.
hard drive?
same as my PC, about coming up on 3 years, if not 3 years already.
I remember, I think it might have been on Tested, like reading kind of a like hard drive related article about like 3 years is like, you know, when you should expect like a, you know,
A failure.
Shit, what are they called? What are non-SSDs called? The spinning
hard drives. Platter.
There's a name. They have a name though, right? They have a
Disk
RPM
drive?
drives. Yeah, disk drives. I don't know. The name escapes me. But yeah, like after 3 years is where like they might start, you know, losing performance and that.
Yeah, I think something's happening because I'm getting like weird things where like I don't know, I open the File Explorer and it just hangs for a second or so, which it never used to do, or I open a tab in Chrome and then it hangs for a second, like when I'm loading a page, and then just goes on like normal, which my PC's never done before, and that's kind of depressing. So I don't know whether I just need to rip those out and start again as well. Starting to get expensive though, when you know, I'm basically replacing everything at this point apart from the power supply, cooler,
it sounds like
and case.
I mean, 3 years is a good life for.
Yeah, no, that was what I was expecting. I mean, I wanted to replace bits and pieces after 2 years, but I think doing the whole thing after 3 years might make more sense for me, at least financially anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see where that goes. Probably won't do anything till next year at least. Like early next year at least, if not by the summer. That's probably the latest I want to do anything. So don't know what's happening.
It'd be interesting to see like if, you know, what kind of effect the consoles coming out has though.
Yeah, I don't know what they'd really changed. I don't know. Maybe the whole the consoles are going down the whole integrated CPU GPU thing for faster data transfer. And like I know phones have been using those kind of chips for ages. You know, the the ARM processors. Those are both integrated on the same chip, aren't they?
Yep.
And even Intel's been including better integrated graphics cards by standard on the new, you know, the newest 4th generation i5s and i7s. So that could become a thing. I don't know.
We'll know. We might know pretty soon. PS4 has a release date, so maybe 6 months' time.
Yep. Maybe then the hardware guys will come out and be like, "Yo, this is the future." Or maybe nothing will change and I'll just buy a 500 quid graphics card like I'm expecting to. I played a few other games I should probably mention quickly. Friend on the site, Woodle. I don't know, you guys probably haven't heard of Woodle before, but we played Battlefield back in the day on the PC Gaming Hub, and I started talking to him recently when I was playing Dota. He sent me a copy of Crusader Kings 2, which I don't know if you remember ages ago, I think Vinny and Drew maybe did a quick look of it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that game is crazy. I've only played the tutorials. I played it for like 2 hours. And here's the thing. Playing that game, I got like a trading card drop within the first minute of turning the game on. And now all of a sudden I've become infatuated with Steam trading cards. And I've spent like I went to work today and I left my PC on, just running Endless Space to get cards. And
sounds like you have a problem.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Because before I kind of didn't give a shit about trading cards. I was like, these trading cards are fucking bollocks. I'm never going to bother doing it. And then Crusader Kings, I sold like a bunch of spare cards I had left over. I sold this random Dota item that I had gotten that was apparently worth like 50p or something. So I was like, ka-ching. And then bought the entire Crusader Kings set once I had my 4 drops from Crusader Kings. Crafted the badge, got the profile background, which is now proudly on my Steam account. Got to level 10, which meant I was allowed to put a showcase on my profile on Steam. So now I have like a screenshot showcase. I can choose which 4 screenshots it shows. And yeah, and now I'm on the track towards getting the Endless Space ones because one of the Endless Space Steam profile backgrounds looks fucking amazing. It's really, really pretty screenshot from the spacey shit in Endless Space. So yeah, I don't know what happened between me starting that game and then becoming addicted to trading cards. But yeah, that's kind of away from the point of what Crusader Kings is. I played like the tutorials, and one of the best things ever happened in the tutorial. It like made me laugh for about 5 minutes. In the tutorial, one of the tutorials is like diplomacy or something, and then in the intermediate diplomacy tutorial, they're like, "Oh, you can marry people or something," and it was like, "Your wife is dead." which is an interesting way to start a conversation. Then it was like, underneath their profile portrait, you can see a blue, like 2 rings together. Click that to marry someone. And then I went to click it, and it wasn't blue, it was grey, and then my wife wasn't actually dead. And then I couldn't complete the tutorial. And that just made me laugh. I don't know why. I was like, I can't complete the tutorial because my wife isn't dead. What am I supposed to do? So yeah, that game's prettier than I thought. Like, I remember watching the quick look and thinking it looked a bit, the UI didn't look all that, but it's actually really nice. And like the whole map for the world, Joe, I don't know if you actually know what the game is about.
No, I don't.
Okay, it's kind of like the map screen from, like, it's kind of like a Civilization-y thing, but it's like the map screen from Rome Total War. So it's just like the whole of Europe, and you just control like a duke or monarch or somebody. You can just pick anyone from any year between like 1066 and the 1900s probably, and just choose to play as them, and then you just try and you get scored basically on how well you do. Like if you gain more lands, they give you points, and then you have to leave inheritance, and then when your character dies, you take control of his heir, and then continue trying to expand like an empire effectively across Europe. So it's all like diplomacy and backstabbing people. There's a small military bit to it, but anyway, the map's really cute because when you start the game and like choose which faction you want to play as, you can zoom all the way out, and it's just like I don't know how to describe it. It's actually like a game board. Like there's a physical wooden edge that runs all the way around the outside of the board, as if it's like floating in like 3D space, as if it's like in someone's dining room, like a little model tabletop board. But inside the board, everything's like hyper realistic. So like there's a moving ocean, and then the mountains are like raised up, and there's little like almost like miniature model-esque trees. And I don't know, it's quite a nice visual style considering I thought the game visually didn't look particularly impressive from the quick look. But as for the gameplay, I've only played like 2 hours, and most of that was doing the tutorial, and I have absolutely no idea where to start. So Woodall pointed me in the direction of a quick look, because like I started up the game and it was like I was in control of the Byzantine Empire. I was like, what am I trying to do? I don't know. I'm at war with some people over in East Europe. What do I do now? No idea. I literally no idea how to start. So he pointed me in the direction of a quick look, and I'll probably watch that and see kind of like there's no direction in the game. You could do anything you want. I could like excommunicate myself with the church, appoint an anti-pope, declare war on everyone, and then I wouldn't know what to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I need some direction, and that game.
Yeah, I mean, the quick look isn't probably that great at doing that. I think it's Dave doing it. Like Dave's the one who's been playing the game, so.
Oh right, it was Dave. Yeah.
Yeah, he at least has some idea of what's going on, but it's still that game has seemed really crazy from the way he was describing it. As far as I can tell, like the overarching objective is just to like keep your bloodline alive, basically.
Yeah, basically have an heir and give them something to inherit and try and make life better for children. It's basically just a giant role-playing game. You basically role-play some sort of noble person in the medieval times, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. It did seem really cool.
It's got multiplayer as well, and I have no idea what that constitutes.
That would be crazy.
I don't know how many people it goes up to, but if you had like people controlling like 8 different factions across the entirety of Europe, that'd be pretty bananas. Also, that game got me mad hyped for Rome 2 next week, because it's basically the exact same map. It's the exact same map as what the map was from Rome 1.
Yeah.
So it's like nostalgia. Every time I see like stuff from Rome 2, I'm like, oh my god, the map. And I don't care for like the actual real-time strategy part of Rome Total War games, because the AI sucks dick, and I'm not very good at the strategy part anyway. Like I tried playing online and got ruffled, but the map, I don't know, it just makes me happy. Like the I don't know, just controlling units and taking over places, memories. I have them. So yeah, that was pretty much it for me this week. Or 2.
Or 3.
Or 4.
However long it's
I don't know.
Cool. John, what did you play?
I played a bunch of stuff.
Cool.
let's see. We already talked about dive kick,
Yeah.
so I don't really have anything more. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
doing that a lot.
that announcer is so good in that game. I can't believe you actually mentioned that. The announcer is so good.
So racist.
It's so
Yeah.
it's extremely racist, but
It's very racist.
still, it's awesome.
Yeah, I played a bunch of. I finished Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance.
How is that game? 'Cause, I'm almost out of
It's-
patience waiting for the PC version. I really want to play that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I remember playing the demo. I just could not get the parry system down, which is pretty integral to
It's
playing that game
the same
well.
button as attack, isn't it? It's literally just you attack,
Yeah.
parry.
Yeah, you like flick the left stick in the direction of the attack that's coming at you, and yeah, hit the light attack button. And what I kept doing and like not realizing was holding the direction,
Mhm.
which doesn't. You've just got to like flick the stick, then let go of it.
Yeah.
That's crucial.
How is the timing window? Seeing as it's
Okay,
Right.
so
pretty strict.
like yeah, well, it is for like the parry, but you can just sort of block attacks. Enemies will like flash red as they're about to attack you, and if you hit the parry, then you'll just like block the attack. But if you like do the parry move like just as you're about to get hit, then it'll do like a parry and counter, which is obviously like better because you're actually doing damage, and it tends to stun like most of like the lower level enemies, and it's pretty crucial to like a few of the boss battles. And there's some attacks that can't be parried that you just either get out of the way of or do the actual like dodge move, which also does damage. But yeah. So I got that down, and that made that game way more fun. That game is pure just joy, just slicing dudes in half.
I
and
can't wait
doing
to play it. I just
wild shit.
Hey, what platform did you play it on?
I played it on the Xbox.
How did it run? Because
Oh, really?
the main reason I'm waiting for the PC version is just because I want the frame rate, the obvious frame rate advantage, and
Yeah.
is it stable? It's 60 on consoles though, right? I can't remember. Is it 60 or 30?
Oh God, I'm not sure. It looked good. It ran fine. I can't remember any period where there was like some massive frame rate drop. Which is obviously like crucial for those sorts of action games. It's not as like in depth as like Bayonetta, which is because it's made by Platinum, so there's that pedigree there. It's not
I
like
actually thought I didn't think Bayonetta. I mean, maybe that's never mind. It's like I've played a lot of Bayonetta and a lot of Devil May Cry, so Bayonetta felt very familiar to me like immediately when playing.
Yeah, it doesn't really have that many systems in place. I mean, the parry system is pretty much the main thing in that game. The combo system's not particularly crazy. It's mainly just like
do you get any
buttons
weapons, or is it just the sword?
Yeah. You get like when you beat a boss, you get their weapon essentially. I didn't find any of those that useful. I mainly just stuck to the sword. Their weapons go into like the sub weapon slot and essentially like replace your heavy attack.
Oh, right.
I found like the heavy attacks with just the sword were pretty good. There's a lot more combos with like just the sword. So I pretty much stuck to that. But I mean the first one you get like the pole arm thing, which is pretty stupid weapon. Just the way it looks is actually a pretty decent weapon. But the other ones I didn't really find any use for. But I mean maybe they'll be different. God. That game is weird.
I take it there's not much of a story.
Like the overarching story isn't that interesting. It's sort of the moment to moment, just like this cutscene is really weird. This boss character is really weird.
Fight
that
a
sort of
dog
stuff.
with a chainsaw for a tail.
Yeah. Like the final boss is pretty.
So game of the year, basically, like just right off.
Final like final boss of the year, like that game wins it easily. Just really weird and like, oh god, yeah, it's bizarre. Like I heard Jeff Gerstmann talking about it and like thinking like what could it possibly be that's so crazy about this boss, and I thought I'd got to it.
Yeah.
But I was just like fighting like the first form, I guess, and then when it gets crazy, it's like, yeah, this is really dumb. There's a lot of like, it's funny like they find a pretty good mix between like Platinum weirdness and like Kojima weirdness.
Yeah.
like the long ridiculous monologues of like a Metal Gear game and just the wild sort of characters of a Platinum game. Yeah, it's a really interesting game. I wish they'd done a bit more with like the story, like the actual real story instead of just the crazy cutscenes where people talk about, I don't know, nothing. And it's that game doesn't really have a story. It's just it's really weird. There's like one or two like sort of annoying characters. Like there's this orphan kid you meet who talks in a, God, what accent does he have? He's from like Guyana or something in South America, and he speaks like, it's weird. It's like it's English, but it's like it's sort of subtitled because he's saying words that aren't actual English words. It's sort of like Jamaican, I guess, but it's not Jamaican. Like there's words that just like you would never say in like, you know, normal English speech, and it just don't really make any sense. And he's sort of terrible. Because like it's supposed to be like a 10-year-old kid, but it sounds like a 30-year-old guy doing the voice, and it's really jarring.
Okay.
God, what else? I'm trying to think of the other crazy stuff in that game. There's, I don't know, just the bosses are really stupid. Everyone says memes a lot, but not in the way that you would like use the word meme, like not like internet meme or Reddit meme. It's like,
how do they use it?
I can't think of an example because it's been a while since I played, but if you replace the word meme with like the word sausage, it would make about as much sense. So
okay.
I don't understand why they're saying the word meme.
I really have to
like
play
they
this game now.
One of the boss I think the third boss has a monologue where he says it about 5 times, and I didn't understand what you meant by it.
Okay.
Yeah, and the last boss is pretty special. And that game's sort of weird, but cool, and it's quite short, so it's not like, I don't know, it didn't overstay its welcome. It's about 6 hours or something. That's a weird game, and I sort of hope they do some sort of sequel to it or something. Something with like I don't know, like add a bit more depth to the combat system and get a real story in there, and that like a sequel to that could be pretty awesome. God, what else? I finished Tomb Raider. Oh, I started it and then finished Tomb Raider, the new one.
What did you think?
I thought that game was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. I ended up like 100%ing it as well, which I don't like ever do.
I didn't do that, but I did play it a fair amount. And so that game, I think that game surprised me more because I wasn't really expecting it to be good, and I was very pleasantly surprised by that game.
Yeah, story's pretty cool. Like the Lara characterization is pretty good. In terms of that transition from being like the sort of fresh-faced rookie to like grizzled murder lady.
Yeah.
God, what else? The combat's pretty interesting. I really like the bow. I thought it was a pretty good bow.
It's definitely one of the best bows. I agree.
Yeah. Once you get those explosive arrows.
I never really used. I like played that game very stealth based. I was, bow, silence weapon, and that was kind of weird. Actually. How did you feel when they gave you the silence pistol? I thought that was really a really weird design choice. Like, because you have the bow and it's all about survival. Oh, here's a really pretty damn high tech weapon that's a lot better than your bow. Like, and
yeah, like the justification for like being able to, like, going from having like these weird like World War II like crappy sort of guns to having like pretty advanced weapons.
I thought that was a bit
like
that's kind of gamey,
weird.
I guess.
Like those but like they should have been like, oh, you pick it up in the environment. It's not like, oh, I like collected some tree branches and skinned a few deers. Now I have like some crazy like modern rifle.
I think
that makes no sense.
It's pretty much the same with every weapon. I upgraded most of my weapons, and I think like when I first saw it, I thought they were going to go a completely different way, because when you first upgrade the bow, like you see some like more branches on it, and it's got some more straps, and it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like it's actually building the weapon. And then you go from, I think, maybe like level 3 to 4, and it just straight goes from like like, you know, kind of a makeshift bow into like a tech bow from like, you know,
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, this
into like a bow that you'd see in like the Olympics or
yeah,
something.
exactly.
The,
It's got
the
like a
archery.
scope on
It's
it
like,
and shit. It's
yeah.
like,
Do you ever get a silencer for your bow?
no,
No, you don't need
don't
one.
need one. But
I wish there was.
that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be great.
You get like and it's the same with every weapon. Like, you know, you get like a World War II machine gun. It's like, oh, this is pretty cool, and then you upgrade it to like it's like an AK-47 or like a, you know, the most recent version of an AK. You find like an old school shotgun, and when you fully upgrade it, it's just like a fully automatic like Spaz 12 model shotgun. It's like, this makes no sense. Like,
Yeah, that stuff's pretty.
maybe there's like a weird time thing that we missed completely.
Yeah, I don't know that. Like,
I mean,
that's
it doesn't
gaming,
really
like-
matter, but yeah, it was.
They
it just
maybe could have
weird
found a better way of doing it, but
when they.
yeah, it's not a massive like criticism against the game. God, what was it? I thought I couldn't place. You know where Roth, like the mental character,
Yeah.
I could not place his accent
No, me
at
neither.
all. It's like he's meant to be like, I think she says northern at some point, like as in northern England, and like I, being from the north of England, I couldn't tell what that was. At times it sounded sort of like Yorkshire, but then that would sort of go out the window, and it would just be weird. Like, this is a person doing like a generic English accent. Like, I never actually bothered looking up the voice actor to see if he was actually English at all.
That would
but
make sense. Seeing
that
as
was weird.
Seeing as it's a modern video game, that seems to be like, you either sound like, you know, generic British guy, or you sound like the Hellgast. Like, there's no middle ground with English accent video games.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought Grim, the Scottish guy, was all right, but he's barely in that game. So
that's my only real complaint of that game. I think that their best characters are used the least, and their worst characters have far too much screen time.
yeah, they could have done a bit more with the survivor stuff, because it's like you meet the survivors for like 2 minutes, and then, oh no, something happens. Like, now I've got to like find them again. It's like that they use that story beat quite a lot,
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, we're all back here. Oh no, now
Did
something
you-
bad's happened.
Did you it was
that's
the only thing that really kind of bugged me about like the you know, the quote realism that they go for. I think they did a pretty good job of selling most of that, except the very first bit. You know, when you very first meet them, and it's like, yo, Lara, you've got like a gaping impale wound through your entire fucking body, and
Yeah.
it's never ever addressed. Like, that's just
It just heals.
yeah, it's never addressed. I think I remember I actually looked up like what that would have done, like anatomy wise, and I can't remember what it was, but basically it like that would have killed her within like an hour, if I remember correctly. But everything else, like, they sell pretty well. And it was just like, that was like the one omission where it was like, yep.
It's really weird as well, because they don't like capitalize on it. Like, when it immediately happens, it's like, yeah, she's limping around, but it's never like, it's not like someone like later, like, I don't know, like pokes her in that wound to try and hurt her or something. It's just like, I don't know why they bothered doing that. Like,
I mean, that
just-
felt, I don't want to say like just, you know, for the sake of that, you know, the demo they showed, but like that was very, very inconsequential in terms of the game.
Yeah.
Like, that has like no bearing at all. It's like,
also like it. I don't know. It sort of makes you think, right? Well, there's no way she can die now, because it's just like she takes that wound and then is, you know, is like sprinting around and murdering people within the next like hour. It's like,
I mean,
like
I think you
I
are
think
like,
we talked about this.
I think you're slowed down a little bit. I think. At
Yeah,
the start,
but
yeah, it doesn't last very long. Like, it's
and
like,
like,
oh yeah, you need
we
to find
talked about
stuff.
like The Last
I
of Us.
think,
Like,
isn't it like when you get some food, like you kill the deer, and it's like, all right, I'm fine now. Like, I got some food.
yeah.
Never mind this, you know, gaping wound in my side.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
Like we talked about The Last of Us in comparison to it a while ago, and like when a character suffers an injury like that, I don't want to spoil anything, but when that happens, like that injury is like the focus of like the next 3 hours or something of gameplay, and it's like that character is in peril, and like it just didn't. I don't know. It felt weird. It was never like. I was never like, oh no, Laura might not make it. It's just like, no, she just walks it off.
I can't remember if they. I think they do actually, but you know, very minor spoilers, but like where she puts her, like she gets caught in one of those bear traps. Her foot does.
Oh yeah,
like, don't they actually? Like, I'm pretty sure you can't run after that happens. Like, you can't you can't actually run and you're a lot slower. Or am I just
Yeah, that would. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why it felt so weird. It's like because with that injury, and they actually sell it through like the follow-up gameplay, whereas the very first one, it's like, yep, whatever, I'll just pull this piece of metal out of me. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's a pretty minor complaint. I think that game is really quite awesome.
Yeah, that game's rad.
Really, it really does a lot to like bring back Tomb Raider. I think. Like I'm very, very anxious to see where they go next.
Did that game sell well enough for another one?
Well, according to the publisher, no. It only did 4 million copies. So.
Oh, only 4
yeah,
million. That sounds amazing for a freaking Tomb Raider game.
I think we talked about this when it came out. I think it did.
Yeah,
it did 4 and something. And there was a story about it, and it was like, oh yeah, that's good, but it's not 5, and therefore it's a complete failure in this day and age. But I highly imagine we'll see a sequel to that. So it's just that.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, because I think
there's certainly
Sorry, go on.
There's room for improvement, even though that game is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
There's
certainly
things they could do in a sequel.
I wish they'd have like toned down the collectibles and like just given me more tombs. There was a lot of there's a lot
of
like,
stuff that just doesn't add anything to the game. It's just like here's a collectible for the sake of it being.
Whereas the tombs were really cool, and I wish there was more of them. I remember I've never been like more disappointed to get an achievement when like the tomb achievement pops up for getting all of them. I was like, oh, yeah, that's it. Like, there's not more of them. Like, I was it's like, man, I wanted way more of them because they were really fun. But yeah, and I think
I mean, I can imagine like the next game being way more focused on tombs. Hopefully, like going more towards like classical Tomb Raider, where it is just going around these crazy puzzly tomb things, which are just completely ridiculous and would never actually exist.
I thought the puzzles in this one were pretty good though. They weren't. I mean, I think some of the puzzles in the older Tomb Raider games were just so fucking stupid and like they were so ridiculously nonsensical that that's why it took you so long to figure them out. Yeah. It's because they just didn't make any sense. But I really hope they do another one, mainly because I felt one of my biggest concerns going in was like the recharacterization of Lara. It was like, oh, this is going to be gritty and real and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I actually think they did a great job of that. So like, going forward, I think we could be like taking this as a starting point. I'm excited to where they could go next. It's not just this is this is gritty because she gets beat up a lot. It's like, no, this is actually they do some pretty cool stuff in the game.
Yeah. That game's.
I want to talk about them, but Brad, you need to play that, so save that for
I can't think of anything else to say about the game.
Did you try the multiplayer at all?
No.
Nah, me neither. If you did,
I could jump into it at some point, but
nah.
I can't remember hearing anything about it, like positive or negative. So maybe I'll give it a try. I don't know. God, let's see. I finished Dust: An Elysian Tale.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'd gotten a pretty decent way through that. And yeah, ended up finishing it like about a week ago or something. That game's pretty damn good.
The game's pretty rad.
I really, really like that end boss.
Yeah, the end boss fight is
like the very last sort of stage of that boss fight was like probably like the most cinematic boss fight I've ever encountered. Really, like it's weird to say that about like a 2D game. It's just the way like those little platforms and fighting above that lava pit thing is pretty rad.
I think all the boss fights in that game are pretty fantastic, to be honest. That game has really good boss fights. That
game's cool. Decent little twists in the story and stuff, and I think it sort of the like quality of that game is sort of amplified, like knowing that it was pretty much made by one dude.
Yeah.
Like
it's hard to ignore that, like even though because like that feels. I remember when I like first finished it, it's like I tried not to think about that because that sounds on the surface like kind of a qualifier. Like, oh, this game was made by one dude, and it's like that game would be amazing if it was made by 200 people. Like it's still the fact that it was made by one person just makes it even more ridiculous that game is as good as it is. So
totally. And even like Fidget, who should be like a really annoying character, I think, becomes sort of cool. Like
Yeah, I think
she's the sort of character I would hate in most
me
games.
too. And
like,
yeah,
I thought she was
liked
she was
her.
pretty decent.
I think from what I've
Um,
when that game was out there, I think from what I've mainly read, I think she's one of those you either really like that character or you absolutely despise her. You know, there doesn't seem to be much of a middle ground. But like I think like the way she like works in combat is quite interesting as well. So
yeah, super useful as well.
She is fucking ridiculous. Like the did you play it through?
She
just on
carries
normal,
her weight.
or
yeah, I think so.
oh, okay, I was gonna say like on the highest mode in particular, like Fidget she's very very important.
Yes. I can imagine that because her attacks are just ridiculously powerful.
They're good as well, but I think it's mainly the crowd control that she gives you. Like on the hardest mode up until it's kind of annoying really, but on the hardest mode up until you get like I think what I would say like is mid-level armor and stats and that pretty much every enemy is a one-hit kill. Like they'll just kill you instantly if you make one mistake. You're fucked. So like having her to be able to control the crowds and let you get in your like basically the one move that you'll use on very hard. So
yeah,
it's a pretty interesting. It's not for everybody. Like one-hit KOs are usually not fun, but I think they did it pretty well with how Fidget incorporates it.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about the game. It's cool. Looks pretty fantastic. I still have issues with like the actual character art, but everything that isn't that art is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Like all the background stuff, the way it's animated as well.
The animation in that game is very good. I also like I thought the enemy designs were really good as well, and like quite varied as well. It's not like there's like specific categories of enemies. It like reminded me like in some ways reminded me a lot of the first Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox. How there's like in the first set of levels where you're kind of going through just like the tutorial bits. Those things that look kind of like I guess like trolls, like fat. You've got like short ones, mid-sized ones, like higher ones, and you've got like the thin ones that are faster. And then when you get into like different sets of levels, like every single enemy has like a tier. You have like your shit tier enemy in that group, then you have like the mid-level guy, then you have the top-level guy, and that goes on like through the entire game. Like every single set of enemies has like that kind of balance to them, which I thought was like it's cooler than just seeing like the red one does more damage than the blue one, or whichever.
And that game is filled with stuff to do other than the main story, which is sort of
it's a super fun game. It's 100% super fun. Around the whole map and find everything. And I think the only thing about that is it took. I don't know if you were the same, but it took me ages to understand the map.
The map's a bit weird.
Yeah, it's like
I can't remember. Is there a legend for it? Because
I think there is a legend for it, but the thing that confused me for so long was when you're in an area, that one square represents that area.
That area, yeah.
And I thought it was, I thought it was like one square represents where you are at the moment, and you explore. But no, like once you kind of make sense of that, it's a lot. Like it's a lot easier to kind of guess where the secrets are going to be because you know that if I go out this way, I'm actually going to go into this square, so I need to go back.
Totally. Yeah. So. Yeah, there's I think I can only remember like one or two examples where you actually had to like go out of the square where the treasure was and like sort of go like into some other like areas and then come back to actually get the treasure. There's like only one or two examples of that. So
did you find?
Yeah, like once you get the map down, it's reasonably easy to find almost everything.
Yeah, did you find all of the guest character?
Oh no, I found maybe 6 or 7.
All right. There's one in particular.
I sort of like once the story started picking up, I just sort of blasted through that.
I went back through most of
a lot of the side stuff.
I went back through most of the optional stuff after I'd beat the boss, the final boss.
Yeah.
There's one of them in particular that if you leave it till like the last one you get, it's you have to buy the, I don't know if you've seen it when you played through it, but there's a pendant that like reduces all your stats by a factor of 10. So like basically you have like 10% of all your stats. And there's one, because it says in it, I think like who the hell would ever want this? Like this is junk.
Yeah.
But there's one of those characters that's hidden in a chest. That the only way to get it, like past like maybe level 10 or something, like you need that pendant because you have to use like the in-air vortex to like ride enemies up to like a super high point in one of the levels and find the chest.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. It's like took me because I found that like when I had all my stats pretty much at their maximum. I know I was really annoyed because I thought it's impossible for me to get that. Like I cannot get that. I'll kill the enemies. And then I remember that pendant, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, it's a cool thing they put in the game."
Yeah, I can't remember which character it was, but it takes you into this weird like puzzle where the screen is split up into like 9 little segments, and oh god, who was it?
Isn't that the Oh, it's not Fez.
No, it is like an indie
Fez?
game.
Yeah, because there's like a Fez-esque, because like each one of the mini games, like to get those characters has like a spin of the game they're from, like in the levels. Like the Fez, has like a Fez spin on the level, like the way you move through it. And I know the one you're thinking of, and I'm trying to remember the character as well.
Yeah, you're like, but as you move from like panel to panel, it's not in a straight line.
No,
it's like you'll go from like the bottom left panel to the top right, and then like it's very disorientating.
That's annoying me.
Yeah, annoying. That one was cool. That's the one that like sticks out in my mind as being really interesting to find. Yeah, so Dust is pretty rad. I'll be interested to see what Dean Dodrell, I think is his name. I'll be interested to see what he does next.
I hope he does something completely new. I mean, that game, you could do a sequel to it, but I don't.
It doesn't end in like obvious
but
sequel territory.
I really don't feel it needs a sequel.
No.
Like I would have liked the combat just to have like maybe a few more, moves. But the combat works for what it is. It's very simple.
Yeah.
But it does work. So if he did like a new game, like then he could maybe experiment with like a more leveled combat system or something. But
yeah, so that was it for Dust. The only other thing I put any time into was Persona 3. Finally played a bit more of that because I don't know, I've got nothing to play now, so I may as well play the games that are in my backlog. Yeah, I beat a boss that I'd been stuck on for quite a while, so that was cool. I didn't really play that much of it though. Just grinded, did some old JRPG grinding, which wasn't much fun, but that's actually like a good game for just like when you're grinding, just put a podcast on or something, and just because you don't really have to. It's not like a reaction game. You're not like you don't have to be 100% focused on the game. You can just sort of turn away and do something else, and then press a button, which is cool. Yeah, I really want to finish that game because I do really like it. It's long. I've put 20 hours into it and I feel like I've barely even scratched the surface of it. So oh man, like 120 hours I think is like the average time for finishing that. So
wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. But yeah, I will finish it at some point. Hopefully by the end of the year or something. Yeah, that was pretty much me for this week.
Cool. I think it's been like 3 weeks since I last went over what I played. I actually managed to play some stuff. I had a week off this week. And it's been like the best holiday ever because I only went out once in a week and just played games inside the whole time. It was fantastic. I played a lot of shit. I'll just go over briefly like the ones that I don't really need to talk about a whole lot. I played. We already went over Dive Kick, so I need to talk about that. I played the demo for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. I can't remember what the subtitle is for that. Something like
something Mutant Harder.
I have no idea. That game's
isn't it like? Oh man, I'm sure I know it.
Yeah, I think it's like out of something, but I can't remember. That game's not very good anyway. It's
no shit.
It's really like it just feels really clunky and unresponsive. I only played the demo for like 5 minutes. I was like, I don't want to put any time into this game. The combat's really simple. The animation looks pretty rough in a lot of ways. I don't like the character models at all. I think the turtles themselves look really shitty. Yeah, that game just really did not impress.
Sounds great.
Did not impress. I only played it because I really love the turtles. I love me some turtles.
I was gonna say, I was wondering.
So
why
I was like, yeah,
bothered
I could go. Did you guys play the old Turtles game, the like side-scrolling one from the Nintendo era? Because that is one hell of a game. Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason I played it. It was pure, oh cool, I remember that game. That game was awesome. This new game is total garbage, so don't play this new game.
Sweet. Thanks for the heads up.
So yeah, that's pretty much that. Played quite a bit more Injustice, mainly kind of trying to play that online, which is not great. It's a little bit better than MK, which granted wouldn't be hard. I find like the very best games I have in Injustice are like legitimately playable. Like you can like reactionary anti-air, stuff like that. Like go for setups. But still really kind of bums me out that game's online is still pretty shit, because I just think like a fighting game coming out in this day and age having anything less than serviceable online it does a real disservice to the fighting game itself, because it really hurts the growth of the metagame. Like that's one thing that really hurt MK9 a lot. Like you couldn't really test things online. Like if you name any other fighting game that has decent online, like Tekken Tag for example, you can go online in that game and you can actually test stuff because it's comparable to playing it offline. Not being able to do that really sucks. If you're interested in taking a fighting game anywhere above just playing it for just throwing out stuff. So that's fairly disappointing. Tried out pretty much all of the DLC characters that come out for that, which is I think 6 now. There's a lot of DLC characters for that. Martian Manhunter definitely was the most fun. He has John, you've played a little bit of Injustice, haven't you?
Yeah.
His trait is really interesting. His trait extends his limbs, so like all of his normals have greater range and do more damage, and like he's just a really really fun character to use. He's found him very intuitive to kind of do stuff with. That's pretty much it for that. It's just the online that just really annoys me about it, because I really want to play it more, but it's you play a few games online and you say, yeah, this is stuff isn't working because this isn't good enough, and I just kind of tune out and stop playing it. So that's unfortunate. But I also played a lot of God of War. I actually played the new one, God of War Ascension, and that made me go back and play God of War 1 and 2 and like half of Ghost of Sparta. God of War Ascension is not very good. You might not be surprised to hear. That game is like fundamentally sound as a God of War game, but just adds absolutely nothing to the story. Like it's total throwaway. It's just garbage. They try and make a big deal out of like, oh, this is the very very first chapter in Kratos, rebelling against Ares and all this bullshit. And it's like, well, how come this wasn't mentioned in any of the other 5 fucking games then? It just reeks of like, oh, we can't not have a new God of War game, so shit one out. They actually
did you buy that?
They actually nerfed the combat quite a bit. I felt. Have you guys played God of War at all?
I played 1 and 2.
You played 1 and 2.
Yeah.
You remember like the kind of the basic combos that you have? Like,
yeah.
The regular, square. I think it's like 6 squares. Like, the basic combo that you do every single game. They've completely changed that in Ascension. Like your basic attack is now like a 5-hit string that ends in a completely useless like single focused attack. That game loves its group combat, so removing like your group ender is a really dumb decision in my opinion. The way they kind of replace it is you now have a rage system, which when you connect successive attacks on enemies, you build up your rage meter. And when your quote rage meter is full, that just gives you access to the old combo system. The exact same square combo strings, which is just really stupid. There's one thing you don't change about God of War, and that's the combat, because that combat is solid as hell. It's just a really it's not necessarily terrible. Like it still works, it's still solid, but it's just not. Doesn't feel like God of War. It's like when you do certain combos in that game, you expect a certain thing. After 5 games, changing it now just seems really silly. And getting hit once will, like, you know, like take away your rage meter. So then you have to build that up again just to get like the old system back. Like the combat didn't feel anywhere near as fun as the older games. Like nowhere near as fun to just like manipulate crowds of enemies and just do cool looking shit. They do an interesting thing with the way they finally get rid of like extra weapons, which I think is one thing that apart from maybe God of War 3 that felt necessary. You now have just like different elemental attacks that you put on, you know, the regular Blades of Chaos. And they have like different attributes, like the electric will like stun enemies, the ice will freeze them, fire does more damage, and what's the other one? Like souls, like the Hades ability, I think gives you more money or gives you more magic. It's one of the two.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's really not much else to say about it. It looks incredible. That really have to kind of give it a good wink for that. Like I went back and played a little bit of God of War 3 because I remember that game looking good. It definitely looks better than God of War 3. It's a spectacular looking game like that, and they really show off the graphics in some pretty awesome moments. There's one like kind of boss fight near the end of the game. You're fighting on this like giant ship that's being crushed by this huge beast, and like it's just fucking awesome. Like it looks so good, and like it keeps the level of play pretty good. The only downside to those kind of sequences is that the camera tends to go out just a little bit too far, and it is hard to see where Kratos is a lot of the time. Like through most of those bits, like from the very start of it, when the camera starts zooming out, I just like held block because I was like, okay, right, if I try and do anything here, I'm going to take a shitload of damage, so I'm just going to wait till a decent camera angle, then I'll start playing again. But you know, for the spectacle of what they are, they do look pretty fantastic. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that game. If you like God of War, you'll probably get a little bit of enjoyment from it. But you know, if you are hoping for, you know, kind of them to keep that bar, then it definitely doesn't do that. And I really hope they just don't make any more God of War games because, you know, there's enough of them.
The highest endorsement.
There's enough of them already, and they, you know, if you ignore this game's existence, which I'm probably going to do, they really kind of wrap things up with everything they've already done. And going back,
Did you buy it or rent it?
I bought it. I think it was on sale on Amazon. I was like, yeah, fuck it, why not? I'll buy that. So it wasn't too expensive, but yeah, and that made me go back and play, you know, the older games. I played through God of War 1 and 2. God of War 1, I still feel is the best one. That game is just so good. Like I really love that game. The story in that game, I think, is, you know, the best and the best told in the series. The setup of the game, I think it really uses Greek mythology in a good way. It uses the setting really well. The whole setup for like Pandora's temple, it's really cool. Like the way that entire game, like that entire game's like second act is Pandora's temple, and when you think of it like from start to finish, it's amazingly designed. Like more than anything, like that entire thing just being designed to be played through is really impressive. I think that has probably the best ending out of the lot as well. God of War 2, still pretty good. I still think that is maybe the weakest one, which is not, you know, that's not saying, but I think they're all great. It's just, I think God of War 2 is, you know, feels like they're trying a little bit too hard in like a few certain places. But still a great game. Got about halfway through Ghost of Sparta. And that game is really, really awesome. That's maybe like the second best one, to be honest. Maybe a tie with God of War 3, but yeah, a lot of God of War, a lot of angry Kratos. That's one thing that I actually kind of missed about Ascension, playing it through. It's like, Kratos, you're not like murdering everybody you see within like 3 seconds of seeing them. What are you doing? This is not the Kratos I have come to expect from God of War so far. I was like, it was weird them, you know, going back to like pre-God of War 1 Kratos, where he was, you know, semi, you know, likable. But that's pretty much it for that. What else did I play? Let's have a look. I played some Saints Row 4.
Oh yeah.
That game is Saints Row with Crackdown's agility, and really, like, that's all I need to say about It's
Is it good?
It's good, yeah, but it is Saints Row 3 with Crackdown, speed and jumping in it. That is it. There's nothing different about it. It's the same city. Like do you guys like care about the story? I'll take.
You mean if you spoil it?
Well, no, I like the basic premise. Like, do you know what it is? I won't. I haven't finished it yet, so I can't really see.
You're the president? I don't know.
Yeah, you're the president, and you get invaded by aliens. That's like the setup. And yeah, like there's some alien weapons and shit, like that are a little bit different. But yeah, if you liked Saints Row 3, you'll probably like this. I just feel it's a bit lazy. And granted, what happened to THQ and that, you can kind of understand that, but still, like, I was really trying to think of ways to describe it, and just it's Saints Row 3, with Crackdown, with a little bit of Crackdown sprinkled on top, and that really is all that game is. So if that sounds appealing to you, you will probably like Saints Row 4.
Yeah.
Moving on swiftly, played quite a bit of Metro Last Light as well, which I don't think either of you have played, have you?
No, but I really want to.
Oh, you guys suck. John, have you played it?
No.
I can't really talk about that then, because it's mainly like story stuff. But
yeah, if you can hold off on
I
that,
can hold off on it definitely,
because that's one I'm actually definitely gonna play.
They really have improved the gameplay in it though, but they haven't sacrificed like kind of the the meatiness, the weight of the guns.
That's good.
When you shoot dudes in this game, bad things happen to people, and it feels really good. Like they haven't made it, it doesn't play like Call of Duty, is what I'm saying. It feels more kind of like Killzone 3. Like it's got the weight, but you also have like a little bit more speed and a little bit more control. The weapons themselves feel really good. Graphically, that game is just incredibly sexy. Playing that on PC, that is, oh man, that game is fucking nice looking. It's a nice looking game. But yeah, we'll talk more about that when you guys play it, because the story stuff is pretty interesting where they go with it. And I'm about, I think, maybe 3-4 hours into it. I can't really get an idea of how far I am through it, but it feels like I don't feel I'm that far through that game yet. I think that was shaping up to quite a long game. Moving on again, we're getting there. Only 2 more. I also finished the new Splinter Cell Blacklist that came out this past week. That game is really good. You might.
Yeah, that's
surprised.
I've been hearing it's like surprisingly good.
Yeah,
which is,
I was one of the few people that I thought that game looked good from when they showed it. A lot of people were quick to be like, "Oh, they've just made it Call of Duty," and it's like, no. There's definitely some of that in there. There is actually a first-person level in that game.
Weird.
Which kind of makes sense. I won't say any more. The way they do it, like it's an obvious, like, oh, this would be cool, but they do at least make, it makes sense within the context of how they present it in the game. The first kind of couple of levels of the game are like the stuff they showed at, E3 and that kind of stuff, the quote modern warfare bullshit that was thrown around that looks like that. And once you get past that is when you get more into like the Conviction style levels. You have like kind of a basic setup of an area and you have to go through it. And that kind of shit, and they're the best levels by far. They don't really do much different from Conviction. They do build on some stuff, like the customization of like your gear is pretty cool. You can select the color of your lights on your goggles. You might be interested to know. Which, yeah,
great.
That's I don't really. That was really weird because it's in. I think that's in the goggles, like, area of the customization. I was like, oh, cool, you can, what can you do? And it's like, you can just change the color of the lights. It's like, oh, okay. But I had blue lights, so fuck it. I thought that was cool. But yeah, you can really customize your gear to how, like, if you want to, I mean, depending on the difficulty you play it on, I played it on realistic straight away, because I always felt that, playing that on the lower ones, it's just too easy. Like, it's too easy to, be caught and have it have no consequence at all. And that game is pretty rough on that difficulty. If you get spotted, and they get any kind of like shots on you, like, you're pretty much fucked. Like, you're dead in like 2 bullets. So you really kind of have to play it stealthily. And it's just, there's something disturbingly satisfying about shooting dudes in the head that can't see you with a silenced pistol. It's just, I love it. It's amazing. So yeah, if you like that about Splinter Cell Conviction, you'll definitely dig this game. The story's total shit though, which is kind of disappointing. I quite like the story in Conviction. I like that they made it, more personal. This story is basically just, oh my god, terrorists, oh my god, America, oh my god, credits. Like, that's it. Like, it's well told, but like that pretty much is the story. It's, oh my god.
I don't know, that sounds amazing.
Terrorist attacking the US, oh my god, Sam Fisher, oh my god, we win, roll credits, and then that's the end of the game. There's not really many like cool moment-to-moment stuff in the game. It is just like, it's the sneaking around that I really, really enjoy. I really enjoy the sneaking and taking dudes out stealthily. Sorry, Mark.
So you just reminded me I totally played this game this week.
All right. Well, yeah.
I've just been sitting here listening to you talk about it for ages and just realised I played some of this. A friend got it free with its graphics card.
Oh, cool.
We played one of the, the like co-op missions that are just like objective based. I didn't play any of the story stuff, so I mean, I think he'd already played through most of it. He just hadn't done the bonus missions, and it was one of the ones sort of like go into a camp, knock out 14 dudes. And that was pretty much it, pretty straightforward. I don't know, I kind of gone off that series since Double Agent, because I didn't really think they were much of a stealth game anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just kind of more down to you to like play it that way if that's how you want the game to be.
Yeah, I think it is, and I think, especially on this game and Conviction as well. Like, when you go above a certain difficulty, you can't really play them any other way. Like, it's impossible to like run and gun your way through this game on above normal, because you just die too quickly. Like, you just
also stealth games are still dumb. So on this mission there was this door, and I like how you still had that under the door cam. So you can stick the camera under the door and look around. There were two dudes outside the door, and then you make the door make clicky noises by pushing the back button.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I guess he's rattling the handle or something. Dude comes over, opens the door. You grab him inside, knock him out, whatever. That's fair enough. And then the door's wide open at this point. There's another dude just around the corner. And then Sam Fisher, like when you close the door, he just like, do you know the animation I'm trying to describe here?
I didn't really use a lot of that, but yeah, I know.
When the door opens outwards, he tries to like stealthily reach outside, grab the door and close it, but he's just like grabs the door, closes it, starts rattling the handle again. Another dude turns up and he does the exact same thing over.
Yeah, they are pretty dumb. I mean, that's one thing I think that I'm glad I didn't choose to get it, because I don't know if you've seen this all in co-op, but did you have the radar in it? No. It's an upgrade that you get. It's kind of silly, really.
Do you mean the goggles?
No, the actual radar, like Metal Gear style. You can see where everybody is, kind of thing. Because
no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, the mini rant about that. Like, that's one of the very first upgrades you can get, and that just takes away so much of personally what I think is fun about that game. It's even using the goggles, like, it doesn't really take you long to get, like, the sonar upgrade for the goggles, but, you can, like, turn them on, like, tag, like, a certain set of people, like, follow them around, take them out. Like, when you have that radar, it takes all of that away from you. It's like, yeah, 'cause I know where everybody is,
Brilliant.
So, yeah, like, that's, but I mean, if you want to play it that way, fine, whatever, it's not a big deal. Yeah. But yeah, I really like the customization stuff. I think how they
have pink lights.
Yeah, coloured lights, man. You can have purple lights if you want.
Although I don't like how there's only on or off. Like, there's no red, yellow, green lighting.
Yeah, that's true. They're pretty much always on. So, but I think the scoring stuff's pretty interesting as well. I like that. The very top score is to just not do anything. Like, I think it's like the leave the enemy undisturbed, I think is what they call it. It's like if you get through an area that say you have like 8 enemies, I think like leaving an enemy undisturbed gets you, I think, 350 points. Like every enemy is assigned points. Like if you silently kill an enemy, I think you get 150 points. If you like silently knock out an enemy, you get 175. If you kill an enemy like in combat, I think you get 125. If an enemy discovers, like, if an enemy knows you're there, like say if they discover a body, and then you move past the area, I think that's the worst way you can do it, because then you only get like 50 points. Forget like if you have those enemies. Whereas leaving them completely unnoticed, gets you a shitload. And that.
What about if they notice something and then you kill them?
Then that doesn't count. Like that would just give you silent kill bonus, which I really like. I hate when in a game like, where they don't sell it. Like, I can't think of one off the top of my head. But like, say if an enemy spots you, and it's like, oh, they've seen me, and you immediately shoot them, but because they've seen you, like, it sets off an alarm or something. Like,
Yeah.
they still have to say like, hey, he's over there, because if they actually see you, and they say, oh my god, but you actually shoot them, like, say straight away and knock them out, like, you won't get discovered. Like, that will count as like a silent takedown or whatever. It won't count as a combat takedown. So I really like that, and that made me play like most of the levels trying to be like as stealthily as possible and not make anyone discover me. There's a few points in the game where they outright force you to kill people. You could maybe like use your non-lethal takedowns. I'm not sure. There's one bit in particular where like you get attacked, like when you're going to a mission. I won't really spoilers, but like you get attacked by the terrorists, and like you just pretty much have to gun them all down. Like it's there's not really much stealthy stuff in that. There's a couple of like really kind of heavy action bits in the game. Ironically enough, the first person sequence is actually pretty fun to play stealthy, even though maybe they intended you to play that just run and gun. That's one of the most jarring bits in the game, when that kind of fades out and like you're just staring at like a first person perspective. You're like, oh, okay, this is a bit weird in a Splinter Cell game. But yeah, like that game is really fucking cool. I played some more of the side missions after I completed the main game. The horde mode stuff I've never really enjoyed in those games. I think it just goes on way too long. If it was like maybe 10 waves or something, that'd be okay. But like the one I started, I think was 20 waves, and it just gets boring. It's like I don't need to kill like 50,000 of these fucking idiots, before this mission is over. Like 10 waves would have been enough. Like I don't need to do this many. But the stealth ones I really liked, like the stealth where you go through like location A, location B, reach the objective, and then you can that's the end of the mission, and you get scored and everything. Like going through them like really stealthily is fun. So I can't remember how many horde mode ones there is. I've only played one so far, so there might just be that one. But most of the ones are the stealth based ones, which are really cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that. I mean, if you like Conviction, I think it's pretty safe to say you'll dig Blacklist. It does a lot of the same things that did, and in a lot of ways does it better. So, haven't tried the multiplayer. I just thought it has. Did you try that at all, Brad? The versus multiplayer?
Nope.
Nah, me neither. I don't care about versus multiplayer at this point. But yeah, I didn't try that, so I don't really know what that does. So it'd be interesting to see if any of that's first person. Like maybe the mercenaries are first person and the spies are third person. That actually could be interesting, but yeah.
I think that's totally the way it works.
Is it? That actually could be fun then. I don't know, maybe. Like you'd have way more kind of awareness playing as a spy in third person, but
yeah,
like just versus multiplayer doesn't really do much for me at the moment. And the last thing I played was Ratchet & Clank: A Crack in Time. Like, I don't know why it's taken me this long to play through that game, because I absolutely love Ratchet & Clank. Have either of you played that? Either you Ratchet & Clank fans?
Nope. I've never played a Ratchet & Clank game.
I have never played a Ratchet & Clank game.
You are both terrible, terrible, terrible people. You are fucking... You are worse than murderers right now. How have you not played a Ratchet & Clank game?
Don't know.
Anyway, that is beside the point. This game is fucking awesome. This is maybe the best Ratchet & Clank game ever. Up until this point, my favorite has been 2. I really feel that 2 is just it's like 2 was the one that felt the most like where they improved the most stuff, whereas every game since then has just been, here's a different set of weapons that you need to upgrade and all this shit. They didn't really do anything different, like, really, really different past Ratchet & Clank 2. I won't bore you guys too much if you've never played them, because it won't make a lot of sense. But yeah, this game is probably my favorite one. They really expand on like a lot of the stuff that I felt that they left behind after Ratchet & Clank 2. In particular, like the space traversal stuff. Like now the game is set, like it's like split up into actual like mini galaxies, for lack of a better word. You usually would just like travel from like one planet to one planet. In Ratchet and Clank 2, they actually introduced like space combat where in between certain missions you'd actually get to like fight in your ship, which was really cool. I think they removed that actually after 2. I'm not sure if that was in any of the others. And in this one, like you now just explore like these mini like hub worlds almost in your ship. And there's like different locations in them. There's side missions that you can do to help people that get you like different upgrades and stuff for your weapons. There's like moons and stuff where you go to get like different mods for weapons, different upgrades, like hidden collectibles, all that fun stuff. And I think that they've really streamlined the weapons, probably the best they've been again since 2. Like past that, like you just had too many weapons. Like Ratchet and Clank has a lot of really crazy weapons, like turning people into monkeys is cool and everything. But they just had so many different weapons that weren't really, unique. They've really streamlined the weapons in this game, I think, to like they have taken like the best, quote machine. Like they have like different kind of groups. Like the machine gun rocket launcher is the best machine gun rocket launcher ever in this game. The giant saw blade launcher is the best one out of all of them in this game. Like they haven't given you like, here's like just a weird spin on the bomb glove, but we've called it something different. It's like, every weapon feels really, really unique. And weapons are a huge part of what makes Ratchet and Clank so fun. So yes, I can't really talk too much about that if you guys haven't played it, because it won't really make sense. But this also makes like splitting up Ratchet and Clank feel the most sensible they've ever done it. Mainly because like pretty early on in the game, Ratchet gets like hover boots, which basically give you all the Clank moves that you wouldn't usually have, which is a bit on the nose, but I don't care because that was always my complaint when they split up Ratchet and Clank. It's like, Ratchet doesn't have all these abilities that you come to expect him to have, so they giving you them is pretty cool. And Clank's solo stuff is all the like time puzzles. I don't know if you guys ever saw this. I know Vinny talked about it quite a lot when he played through it. But those puzzles are just so good. Like they're based around like recording multiple versions of yourself. Going to do things, and like you have to play. So like you have like the most complicated ones will have like 4. So you have 3 recordings of yourself, but then you also have to play the final recording live, like while taking into account the other 3 recordings. And they never go like too insane. Like it's not like Portal where you're like stuck at something for fucking ages and you're like, oh, yeah. When you figure it out, you feel like a complete dumbass.
Yeah.
In this game, they're fairly intuitive. It's like, oh, okay, I need to, you go through step 1, then 2, then 3, and then by the time you get to the last one, if you've made any mistakes, it's pretty obvious that you just think, oh, I need to just, alter recording number 2 and then do this, and that's cool. Yeah. You can completely skip those puzzles if you want, which I think is, makes sense why they've put that in the game, but you are like ruining a large part of what makes Clank's side of the game so much fun. Those puzzles really are cool, and there's only maybe half a dozen of them in the whole game. Like they're fairly long to do. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Because you guys are crazy, and never played Ratchet and Clank.
Those puzzles sound a lot like the ones in Braid, which have also been ripped off in Flash games since.
But yeah, they are really cool though. They are really good puzzles. So yeah, if you're like me and kind of, I don't know, I guess felt Ratchet and Clank's been in limbo almost since 2. I still think the others are good, don't get me wrong. But this game feels like they really brought their A game, I guess, to this one. It is really, really good. If you like Ratchet and Clank, you'll dig the shit out of this game. And you guys need to like go and play Ratchet and Clank now.
Nah, I'm good, thanks.
Seriously, those games are awesome. Those games are really awesome.
You know what really pissed me off?
In general, or just?
No, I just remembered something arbitrarily. It's completely unrelated to Ratchet.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that's the last thing I played, so let's go on.
Yeah, you know what really pissed me off?
What's that?
Do you remember in the most recent, not the most recent Bombcast, actually, it was either the week 2 weeks ago now, probably, they were talking about launch games. No, they weren't.
I don't know. I haven't listened to a.
I can't remember.
I haven't
They
listened
were
to a
talking.
bombcast in ages, so.
Yeah, I think they were talking about launch games, and they mentioned Cell Damage on
Mm.
the Xbox,
Mm.
and they shat all over Cell Damage. They
No.
dropped huge shit bombs directly onto Cell Damage, and I thought Cell Damage was a fucking great game. Is that just me?
I
Or-
don't think I've
Uh,
played it, to be honest. It rings a
It
bell.
got
Actually,
a
I might
pretty
have.
middling reception.
Why? I loved the shit out of that game. Like, that game, playing that multiplayer, was
Let's
an absolute
see.
blast.
I'm on the Wikipedia now. It got 5.7 from GameSpot out of 10.
Fuck. What for?
6.3 out of 10 from IGN.
It was a car combat game. It was you had weapons like a giant axe that would come out the front of your car and could chop other cars in half.
Okay, I'm now interested. This game sounds cool.
It was like multiplayer, like chaos, and like there were like a bunch of different maps and
Wonder who
game
did the-
modes.
GameSpot review.
It was probably one of
let's see.
those lot because they seem to know it quite well. But
Nope.
yeah, that game also it was originally on GameCube, and it was like the only thing that I ever maybe consider buying a GameCube until it came out on Xbox. At which
Gerald
point I bought it on Xbox.
Villoria did the GameSpot review, so.
Well, fuck you, Gerald. You're wrong. That game is a
but I mean-
solid 8 out of 10, at least.
Seems like
I
no
remember
one-
that now. I think I actually played that on GameCube. I knew it.
It was cel shaded. It was like super cartoony.
Yeah.
All the cars would like lean when they turned and had different abilities and different default weapons. And you collect awesome power ups. And there were like map variants. Like one of the maps had a tornado that would go around and hit one, and then another one had a train which would come through the middle of the map and kill anyone in the way of it.
I knew
I
that.
thought that game was amazing at the time. Admittedly, I was quite young, but still, I thought it was pretty damn good. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't know. Right in.
Did they actually like say why they thought it was, hot
No,
garbage?
not really.
No,
just-
they just shat on it
Yeah.
and then moved on.
To be honest, they're not the greatest at explaining why they think a game is bad.
No.
I don't think that was the time or place to get into criticisms of Cell Damage.
Well,
really.
yeah, still.
But yeah.
I just bought it on GameCube because I want to play that game again because I vaguely remember playing it.
But you literally just bought
I literally
it now.
just bought it now, yeah.
Awesome. It is a game that you should probably play with other people.
Live
too.
video game purchasing. It's not
Live.
live when you'll listen to this, so
I wish I knew where my Xbox was.
my original
I'd-
Xbox is still set up. My original
Mine's
Xbox is
in the garage, I think,
still
with all my
going.
games, which I would go get that game and put it in my 360 now. It probably wouldn't run, actually. That's probably not one of the games that they supported.
the original Xbox was so cool, so
It was pretty good. Just blocks.
amazing. I came like dangerously close to putting my 360 away this week
Why?
because I just never use it.
It's true.
It's
I don't think mine's plugged in. Actually, it might be plugged in.
mine's plugged in.
Mine wasn't plugged in for about a month after I came back from uni.
But I was like playing. I pretty much play like everything I play now on PC or PS3. PS3 is only because it's for fighting games mainly, and I play online.
The PS3, it's for fighting.
It pretty much is. It could be an arcade. But I was like just looking at my 360 and was like, when was the last time I turned this on? So I turned it on and had to download an update. I don't know what that was for. Like I haven't really played much Geometry Wars, and that was like the main thing I played on my 360. So yeah, it's like I don't know. That just made me feel really strange, like to put away the 360, like because like my old the original Xbox is like right next to it, like on the left. And it was funny to think like, it would be really, really weird to put away my 360 in like, 2013, but still have my Xbox One out. The actual the first Xbox, not the Xbox One, which is why that name is fucking stupid. It was just one of those moments where it was like, huh.
I think you should keep your Xbox One out and put the 360 away when you get the Xbox One.
That would
If you get
that
the
would be
Xbox
pretty
One.
cool, because then I could have like, oh yeah, I've got the Xbox One and the original.
And then, when you have people over, shall we play the Xbox One? And then just like turn on the
Put in
fucking
Halo 2
original
or something. And be like, what the hell is this now?
Put a Blu-ray in the original
Yeah.
Xbox and see what it does.
It probably I think it says like, I can't remember the disc not recognized
Media not recognized.
Xbox, but
Please
yeah,
put in a
the,
DVD.
the original Xbox is the shit. That is a great console. What were we talking about?
Despite what anyone else says.
Yeah.
They shut on the original Xbox as well whilst they were at it.
The original Xbox has Ninja Gaiden Black, so it's the best console ever, and that's just end of discussion. So there's no other room for discussion ever. So
Sorry, Super Nintendo.
sorry, yeah, you're fucking hot garbage. Xbox One, original Xbox. It's
Yeah, but
so
the Super
stupid.
Nintendo has the best game ever made, so
The what? Sorry,
the best game
on what?
the Super Nintendo.
Which was?
The best game ever made.
Yeah, which was?
Don't you already know?
Well, there was a lot of good games on that.
No, there's only one.
Okay, what one? What game?
Can't believe you can't guess this.
I didn't really
What?
play a
I
lot
think-
of.
I think
had
I
a,
know what
I
he's
had a,
talking
I had a
about,
Mega
but-
Drive at that age, so I didn't really play a lot of Super Nintendo stuff.
Dave, you there, Dave? Dave would know. If Dave was here, he's changed his profile picture on Giant Bomb.
Okay. Are you on about Super Mario World?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
I
Yeah.
think Dave's. We should.
I've never played. I've like barely ever played on the SNES. I've
Yeah,
only
me
played like
neither.
5 minutes.
I had a Mega Drive, so if you want to talk Mega Drive games, then we can.
SNES was my first console.
Man,
It
my
was a
first
bit-
console wasn't Atari.
It was like my parents' SNES. I just inherited it, and then they bought me Nigel Mansell's World Championship.
Yes.
Hell of a game.
I had.
Do you remember Alex Navarro recently did a Encyclopedia Bombastica of some racing game on the SNES? Can't remember what it was called, and it looked fucking identical to Nigel Mansell's World Championship. It was 2-player all the time. Even when you were playing against the AI, it would still be split
Yeah.
screen.
Maybe it was the same game. It just got renamed in the UK because people
No,
actually.
yeah, I checked. I actually went and looked it up on Giant Bomb. They both released. I think Nigel Mansell came out 2 years after that game, but they must have been either they weren't the same developer, but they must have been like the same engine. Like they must have shared tech. There is no way
Yeah, I can't
they
remember
could
what that
be
game.
that identical. Yeah, I can't remember what it was called either. I bet Nigel Mansell, like, they were just like, we can license this other game and then put your name on it and replace it with F1 cars. It'll be fine. That game, pretty fun.
News.
News. There
News?
was some news. There was probably a lot of news that we're not going to talk about. So yeah, we're going to talk about some shit.
No.
Yeah, but we hate
No.
news.
Yeah, this is
here.
true, guys.
Good.
Microsoft points are dead.
Woo! Hot damn.
Microsoft points have been dead to me for about a month.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, but they
I signed up to the like dashboard beta thing, which just got rid of
Yeah.
Microsoft points.
well, now they are dead for everybody. They're on no.
Yes.
There are no more Microsoft points. You will now have to, I guess, just put a credit card in and like. Can you buy credit? Like, on the PlayStation Store, you can get like £25 credit, cards like
You can buy
Hmm.
cards.
All right, cool.
You can buy prepaid cards.
Okay.
They've been doing this for ages, actually. They've been doing, they were actually with the monetary values on, but they were just if you wanted to buy a game straight up.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
So if you want, like, Minecraft, you could buy a card for, I don't know, $5.99. It would get you Minecraft. I think Minecraft's probably more than that, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that. I mean, that's way fucking long overdue. Way long overdue.
You can now pay in the currency from whatever crazy country you're from.
Yeah.
And probably get a bit ripped off in the process.
Yeah,
but-
unless you live in America, apparently. So,
yeah.
I mean, they were a rip-off to begin with, so not too surprising. How do you guys feel about Nintendo? Because there was some pretty, which I think is actually really cool, although for different reasons. The Wii U is getting a price drop.
Yeah.
I can't remember
No,
by how much buy. Was it $50?
Not a lot. Yeah, it's not. It's like yeah, not a lot.
And there is a 2DS.
Now I think
this is
Hear me
great,
out.
but
I think the 2DS is such a clever move from Nintendo. Like, because A, the 3DS is already running away with the handheld market.
yeah.
B, this thing is like £100. It's like, it might as well be free. And C, the third thing that's putting a lot of people off of buying a 3DS is they don't care for the 3D. So
Yeah.
fuck you. You've now got £100.
Yeah,
3DS.
I was pretty much going to say the same. I think although I just think it makes no sense that it's called a 2DS. Like,
It's great.
I know,
so
but it's like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it can't be 2D. It's like, anyway, that's not the point. But yeah, like, that's pretty much how I felt about it. Like, I kind of want to get a 3DS just to play like a few very choice games. I don't give a shit about 3D. People that like, really like, oh, it looks stupid. It's like,
Also, when Pokemon comes out, that thing is going to be out of stock.
Yeah.
Just
so
because all the parents will buy that,
Yeah.
so their kids can have the new.
because it's cheaper. Like, how much cheaper is it than how much is a regular 3DS?
It's about, well, if you're going for a regular 3DS, it's probably about £50 cheaper.
Yeah.
If you're going for an XL, it's about 70, I think.
Aren't the like XLs shit though?
No, the XLs. If you don't care about the pixel density being absolute shit,
That's what I mean.
the
Like, the screen
the
is
XL.
garbage.
No, the 3D. I think the XL does work out. It depends what kind of games you're playing. If you're playing something like Monster Hunter or something, the extra real estate is kind of nice,
Yeah.
and also it has better battery life than the
Okay.
original 3DS. Otherwise, yeah, if you can't hack seeing the pixels, then it's probably not for you.
Cool. But yeah, I'm probably going to pick one up. I actually think it looks pretty cool.
I'm not sure what's up with the wedge, but sure.
Maybe that's like a comfort thing. Maybe, it makes it more comfortable. I don't know. But yeah, I think it looks different. Like, it looks kind of quirky. Looks pretty interesting. So
Yeah, it's a neat machine.
would have been better if they'd have put the second analog stick on it. But
Oh my god, I just had an amazing idea.
oh yeah.
Okay, hear me out. Circle Pad Pro. How would you attach a Circle Pad Pro to that thing?
Maybe we'll find out like a month after it comes out.
Duct tape it to your face, and then
Might be able to. Yeah, I think that's the thing. That's the only thing that was a bit puzzling. Like, I think it is surprising that it doesn't have that on there, but at the same time, that would have its own.
that would be a kick in the nuts.
It would be a kick in the nuts, and it would just, it would create its own set of problems. Like, if any game came out for it, like, would they take for granted that, you have two? Would they take for granted that you bought the, the circle pad thing or whatever? But still, yeah, I'm probably going to get one. I think they look cool. I think the people shitting on it are just silly. They look cool.
Stupid.
It's 2DS, and funny.
If I had a hinge, I'd probably buy it. Like that form factor just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, how do you know? You haven't used it yet. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know. It just looks too big. Like without the folding, like where would I put it? I don't know. It's just
Well, I
weird.
mean, you could get like a case for it, or
yeah,
shit.
don't know.
and I mean, like, does a 3DS like fit in like a trouser pocket? Just the regular one? Like, would it?
Yes,
Probably.
the regular 3DS fits very snugly in a jeans pocket.
Yeah.
It's actually quite small. It's like the same size as a DS Lite,
All right.
which fit pretty well. Maybe a teeny bit thicker.
I think like most people carry that shit in their bag anyway. Like, I don't. Like, I would not carry, a handheld in my pocket. I would just have it in its case in my bag.
An XL will only fit in very few pockets, and I doubt this new one.
My two trouser pockets are reserved for my wallet and phone. Like, that's it. Nothing else goes in my trouser pockets ever.
Yeah, same.
So, like, that would just be in my bag. So, yeah. In other, well, kind of big news, if you're planning on getting a PS4, release date, like, totally confirmed, 29th of November for Europe. It's like 15th for North America, and is that everywhere else? Is that
Yeah,
just Europe?
it's
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Ah, cool. So yeah, you guys gonna get a PS4?
I'd like to, but only because shiny new hardware thing.
That's-
like nothing
yeah.
else excites
Yeah.
me
Really
about
why I
the
want
PS4.
one.
I'm not gonna lie, and I'm probably gonna get one because I
just want to touch it and play with the UI.
I think I'm gonna have the money when it comes out, and I know I just won't be able to not buy one.
The only reason I think
if I've got the money when it comes out, I'll probably buy one. But
and I'll probably like be in Asda or something and be like, shit. Yeah, I'll get
a PS4.
I'll just get a PlayStation 4, like, you know, get my weekly, like, you know, Pringles and shit, and be like, oh yeah, PS4, I'll get one of them too.
It's doing your weekly shop.
Yep. PlayStation 4, and then be like, yeah, this is kind of cool.
It reminds me of that advert. Did you see it's like a Kia advert or something? This woman goes into like a newsagent. She's just buying like chewing gum and a newspaper, and then there's a fucking car hanging on the wall. She just goes, oh, how much is that? And he's like, 59999 or whatever, no, 5,999. Just rings it up, like points the scanner at the car, just rings it up, and she just buys it and then walks out the shop.
Okay, that's kind of weird. Speaking of weird adverts, someone put me onto this one at work. Have you guys seen? I don't know how recent it is, but I think it is like a fairly recent advert. It's a banned Skittles advert. If you've seen it, you'll definitely know what I'm talking about.
Nope.
Oh, yes.
John has probably seen it.
Yes, I've seen it. I think, yeah, it's not that recent, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. I think
that was it was a girl at work. Take that for what you will. That told me about it, and it was just really funny when she was describing it because she was like, "Oh, have you seen that banned Skittles advert?" I was like, "No." She said, "Oh, you know, watch it." And I said, "Can I watch it at work?" Because she told me about it at work. And I said, like, "Can I watch it at work?" And she was like, "No, definitely not. You cannot watch it at work." Well, okay. I asked to describe it, and she described it like kind of awkwardly, which is like kind of cute. But yeah, it's you should watch it, Brad. It's pretty funny.
Oh, well.
It's pretty good.
Oh, I think I know it. I've seen it, but I can't remember it off the top of my head now.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I think does that about do us for this week?
I've got a few more news stories that I found
cool.
a moment ago. So not GDC, is it? No, what? No, definitely not GDC. What's the one that just happened? PAX happened, didn't it? PAX Prime, I think it was. I might have made that up.
No, I think that is the most recent.
Mm-hmm. And Peter Molyneux did a stage show. In fact, they had a whole Twitch channel, and I wish I'd watched more of it because they were just showing basically some of the like developer presentations they had there, which were really cool. And I watched the whole of Peter Molyneux's presentation of Goddess, which was really interesting. Apart from the fact I love listening to that guy speak, and also he was really funny. Like, if you can find an archive of the presentation he gave, I'd really recommend going and watch it because he explains what the game is really well. He gave a little tech demo of the game and was really amusing in a very British way. But yeah, Goddess looks really cool. He showed off a couple of things about the game that I wasn't really expecting. Like, it's a God game, but it's got like PvP multiplayer, where it basically turns into an RTS, and it also has collectible cards. So like every time you win a online match, you get like a booster pack of collectible cards, and like you have like a journal that you like keep them in, and then you also get cards for like achieving things. So like if you discover an artifact or something, you'll get a card for that. When you like progress, do one of your goals in the current age you're in, you get a card for that. And the game actually is like the history of man, effectively. So you start off in like a primitive age, and the game measures like your population, and you're just concentrating on spreading population. And then when it goes into the next age, it goes to like, I think it's the Bronze Age, and you start making tools, and you progress by making more and more tools, and that's what it measures, and it doesn't measure population anymore. And then when you get to the next age, it's the Iron Age, and it progresses by weapons, and your people will start warring against each other, all the way up to the Space Age. And like the game is on one persistent server, so one of the funny moments of the little press show, or I don't know, presentation that he was doing, he was talking about Minecraft and ripping ideas from Minecraft because it was popular, just because. And he mentioned that Minecraft has a world the size of, oh god, what was it? It's like not Neptune. I think it's Yeah, it might have actually been Neptune. And then he said, yeah, and then so we made ours the size of Jupiter just because we wanted ours to be bigger. But then he also said because they actually need it. And what he revealed is, obviously, whilst you're playing the game, everything happens in real time. And like, if you were to quit the game and come back later, like if you had set tasks going, those tasks would have completed because it's all online on one persistent server. And the interesting thing is, your like civilization, I guess, is in a little area on this planet. And if you scroll far enough from one direction, you'll actually come across the next player who is also playing on the same planet next to you. And at the beginning, everyone's going to be really, really spread out and far apart. But eventually, as people, expand their realm, their civilization, they'll start to collide into each other. And then at that point, they don't really know what people are going to do. Like, it's totally up to the players whether they want to, band together and, create a form of alliance or just fucking try and murder each other. Which seems kind of cool.
I think I have an idea of what most people will choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all the developers said that Peter Molyneux said all the people working on the game were like, oh yeah, everyone's just going to kill each other. And then Peter Molyneux was like, I've predicted a far more depressing future. Everyone will be nice to each other. Made me laugh. So yeah, he was really funny, really British, and it was a really good presentation. So I recommend watching that if you can find the whole thing somewhere. It was on Twitch, so maybe it's uploaded on YouTube or something by now.
Cool. Any other news, John? You got anything else you want
to? Nah.
Yeah. What's coming out like this? This winter, autumn, except apart from like the usual Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty.
GTA 5 is out in like a week. I want GTA 5 on PC.
I know. I just don't.
The online looks kind of cool.
John, where do you stand on GTA?
I'm interested.
I'm not going to get the console version. It's definitely a wait and see how that's received for me, and if it's actually different from what 4 was like, because 4 was hot garbage. But
4 I don't think even qualifies for hot garbage. That was like cold garbage.
That's tepid.
Yeah, that was like ice garbage.
I forgot about your guys' like screed against GTA 4.
It's not like, I don't hate the game. It's just
have you guys listened to the most recent Bombcast when they were talking about Saints Row 4? And then they started talking about how GTA 4, like they were talking about how, in San Andreas, GTA was going in the same direction that Saints Row ended up going. Like they were going crazy, everything was big, crazy, insane. And then they removed that and they said rightfully. And then I was like, no, because GTA 4 was dull.
Yeah. GTA 4 was fucking...
It's a matter of...
They didn't need to go all the way crazy. There was definitely a middle ground to be found there, and they just went, nah, we'll just go for the less interesting route.
I mean, what's the bomb crew's opinion on Saints Row 4?
Oh, they love it. So.
Yeah.
They don't think it's as good as 3, but they still think it's really good.
Yeah, I don't know about Saints Row 4. I don't even know if I'll finish it at this point. It's I'm still kind of... You know how every Saints Row game has the first X amount of missions are, hey, if you've never played Saints Row before, here's all this shit. I really wish that you could just not play those missions. I really wish that they had literally, if you've played Saints Row 3, can you just skip me to the start of the actual fucking game?
I don't know if 4 is the same. Does it do the same thing as 3, where half of the game is you playing the mini games, but they're pretending it's the campaign?
I don't know. That's certainly been the setup for most of what I've played so far.
Because that's what put me off 3.
It
was half of the I spent 12 hours and I was like, I haven't done anything apart from play the fucking mini games. What the fuck is this game doing?
The first I think the first few missions are. There's one where it's like, hey, it's funny how kind of blatant they are about the agility stuff. It's like, yo, remember rooftop races from Crackdown? Well, here's how we've done them. That's one of the missions. There's another one that's the one I've just done. And it's literally the exact same thing, but like with just a different spin. But it is fundamentally the exact same mission. There's one of them was the like, oh, here's quote gang controlled thing where you kill a bunch of dudes and you now have the territory. I don't think that there's been like a definite couple of story missions, quote unquote, but yeah, just so far, like I really want to get into the game part. Like I really, that's a problem I have with pretty much every game that comes out now is that, hey, if you've never played a game before, here's how everything works. And I wish you could just skip those bits. So it's like blocking my enjoyment of Saints Row 4 at the moment. I want to get past all that shit. So, but yeah, I don't think it's I don't know. I don't think it's as good as 3 so far. I thought 3 started way better. I thought 3 had a much stronger start. This game kind of starts, a little bit crazy and then just, piles on the tutorial-based shit, and then that's it. I haven't got past that bit yet. So
yeah, it's weird that they would do that for Saints Row 4. Like he was jumping into that and like having that as the first Saints Row game.
That's why I find it so jarring. I mean, it's weird because like if this was any other situation, I'd probably have a very different opinion on Saints Row 4. But because of what happened between 3 and 4, it's understandable why this is how it is. But at the same time, that doesn't really make it any better of a game. It's it's understandable why they've played it so safe, but it would have been cool if they could have gone even more crazy. Like this is quite crazy in a lot of ways, but the jump between Saints Row 2's craziness and Saints Row 3's was pretty big.
Yeah. That's just...
The jump between 3 and 4 is not so much.
No.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be hard, like whichever way they did it, to sort of repeat the trick, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. And if this is your first Saints Row, then I imagine you will play the first mission and be like, oh my god, this is the craziest thing ever.
The only way they could have sort of matched that is like just, oh, well now it's a JRPG or something, like just completely like change the genre or something, or I don't know. Something on that level would be the only way to sort of maintain that
hopefully,
sort of
like maybe the next Saints Row is where we'll see that. Like I think with what happened with THQ and everything that went down between 3 and 4, it was very unlikely that we were going to see anything major. Like I think I'm pretty sure it's the exact same city as 3.
It is the exact same city, which is also crap because that city was nearly as bad as Liberty City.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to do. And the map as well, I just thought about this actually. When you bring up the map, it's just an absolute fucking orgy of icons. When like you bring up the map, it's like there's like a billion fucking icons on it. Like, hey, it's like Jesus Christ. Like, you don't know where to start. It's like you look at the map and it's like there's all these activities, and largely they're probably all going to be like the same. But it's just ridiculous. Like it's very like daunting when you first bring up that map. It's like holy shit. There's a lot for me to there is a lot I could do, but they don't really justify it in a way that you kind of feel that I'm going to go and do all the insurance fraud missions or whatever. Like it's just a lot of question marks that you have to go and find. So. We'll see. We'll see how Saints Row 4. Maybe it gets better. Maybe it shapes up. I hope it does, because I want to like that game. I really do. I really enjoyed it. So.
Alrighty then.
Is that it? I think that about does us for this week.
Yes, I think so.
Cool.
I'm gonna play some Rome Total War this week.
Sweet. I'm hopefully going to finish Saints Row 4 and Metro Last Light.
I'm going to play 100 hours of Persona 3.
Awesome.
Finish it for next week.
Finish that game.
Is there any reason?
No.
Wait, you still haven't actually completed it, have you?
No.
Yeah.
20 hours in.
Fair enough. I've got Demon Souls coming next week. I hope.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh man. Demon Souls, huh?
Yeah, I ordered it like fucking ages ago. I was hoping it was gonna arrive for when I had this week off, so I could just like bathe in Doritos and play Demon's Souls. But yeah, it didn't arrive, so I'm probably gonna have to wait till like my next holiday to play that game. Because that from what I've heard, like that's not a game I'm gonna want to play, here and there. I'm gonna want to, just play it.
I probably would have said play Dark Souls first, but whatever.
I like to start from the beginning, even
Okay.
going backwards. Like after playing Assassin's Creed 2, I went and played Assassin's Creed 1. So that's just how I do things.
My cousin went Demon's Souls way after it came out, and after Dark Souls was already out, and then got Dark Souls, and
Yeah.
he seemed to enjoy Dark Souls a lot more. Like he actually completed Dark Souls, but I don't know whether him playing Demon's Souls actually influenced his decision to actually end up buying Dark Souls. So
I still haven't played all the way through Demon's Souls. I think I got about halfway through it and just.
I don't think many people do compared to the number of people that get through Dark Souls. It's definitely a better conversion rate on.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'll like it, to be honest. It's just one of those games that for ages I really wanted to try.
Well, I hope you will.
I think I will, from what I've heard. Like the challenge thing, the challenge aspect of it definitely appeals to me, but it's whether or not it clicks. I think games that have a really high learning curve, like no matter what, like that you have to kind of click with them, otherwise I think you just kind of they feel too much like work. But anyway, there's no fucking way I can remember our Twitter or our email after like
TMEB podcast.
Cool. Well, there's our Twitter. You can tweet us at what John just said. The MiceElectronicBox@gmail.com, I think, is the email. I don't know why I have such a hard time remembering.
Write it the fuck down. Jeez.
I think I have, actually, but I can't remember where I put the paper.
My. That's even better.
That is actually way better, isn't it? So, yeah, we will see you guys next week. Peace. Say bye, John.
Goodbye.
Say bye, Brad. Goodbye.